Good evening and welcome to the series premiere of the Northern Sun Experience. This is the only weekly half-hour show dedicated solely to covering the Division II Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. I am your host, David Brown, and throughout the rest of the year, I'll be taking you to the sights, the sounds, and the highlights of the NSIC. But first things first, let's acknowledge our namesake. That's right, the Northern Sun Experience was determined as the title of our show through an online contest run by the NSIC. So congrats are in order for Josh Deere, who came up with the name. Josh also happens to be the sports information director at one of our schools, Concordia-St. Paul. He gets an NSIC sweatshirt or golf shirt for his troubles, so I'm sure that'll only add to his extensive Golden Bears wardrobe. So congrats once again to Josh Deere for coming up with our name. And from there we go to arguably the most successful team in the NSIC right now, and that's the Concordia volleyball team. The Golden Bears have won 7 consecutive NCAA championships. That's quite impressive for a dynasty that keeps turning over All-Americans through graduation. Katie Lingle takes a look at the team and tells you how they plan to eight-peat.
If you follow NSIC volleyball, or college volleyball in general, you've heard all about the Division II dynasty at Concordia-St. Paul. So how exactly does a team win 7 national championships in a row? It's simple math.
Success has just come by kind of repeating that, formula, and the girls have done a good job of getting it accomplished.
That formula includes several factors. According to head coach Brady Starkey, the girls are the biggest element.
I think that we've had quality players that have really bought into, the system that we've always had and incorporated, and really do a good job of always trying to continually get better. They just never really settle for what they're doing. They're always trying to get to another level of wherever level they're at, they're always trying to get to another level, I guess.
But if you were to ask the girls, they'd tell you it's the coaches.
I think the biggest factor is really coaching. They recruit the players, they are teaching us the skills that we need, they're teaching us technique, and honestly, that's really what goes into it. The players can only do so much, but if you have good coaches that are able to motivate you to want to do what they want you to, then everything comes along with it.
Add a talented group of players with an experienced coaching staff, and that equals team chemistry.
We're a really young team. We have not a lot of new players, a lot of new people who are going to be playing on the court. So just about how our team can get along together, play as a team, kind of overcome losing 5 seniors and becoming a new team.
When you subtract last year's seniors from that combination, you might think the sum is lessened, but add the experience of the bench and the results stay consistent. One
of the nice things about the situation that we're in right now is that we've had kids that are kind of been waiting in the wings, and so it's not for sure going to be freshmen that have to step in and fill that role.
And finally, combine this formula with a multiplied strength of schedule.
It's a huge advantage to us because we get to play great competition every single game. Even the teams that are in the lower half of our conference are still really great teams, so we're constantly playing great teams. And then when we come to our region tournament, we're just used to playing great teams, so it's definitely an advantage to us, and it's exciting. You get to look forward to a great game every time.
All of these variables calculate into a #1 ranking in both the NSIC and national polls. As far as an 8th national championship, that's something only time can formulate. With the Northern Sun Experience, I'm Katie Lingle.
All right, thanks, Katie. Coach Starkey also said he doesn't mention preseason polls to his team as part of that formula for success. Well, here is the poll, and it's no surprise who's at the top. The Golden Bears received all 15 first-place votes, as coaches are not allowed to vote for their own school. UMD is second, followed by SMSU, Northern State, and Wayne State in the top 5, and you can see the other schools there, ranked 6 through 16. Now, Northern State could become a factor in trying to end Concordia's reign at the top. Even though the Wolves are 4th in the preseason poll, they boast the preseason player of the year in Kelsey Chambers, who found out she received that honor in an unusual way. Here's how she found out and more with our Northern State correspondent, Ben Root.
I go on Twitter, and I just had a lot of notifications. So a bunch of friends and family, and then my coach told me later. So, and it was really cool. I don't know. I'm very grateful for it and stuff. It's also nerve-wracking because you want to do well and stuff, but you don't want to put that much pressure on it. It's more about the team than the individual awards. We're not ranked too low and stuff. We hold expectations for ourselves. I don't think we expected anything else, but I think when you're ranked number 1 and stuff or 2, it's a lot of pressure on you. And I think being ranked lower, we know we can beat those teams with the new girls coming in. So it's a good ranking for us.
When we come back, the football season starts Thursday, and the team that made it the furthest in the playoffs last season is back for more. A preview of St. Cloud State football next.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Well, football season is finally here, and while there are delineations between the North and South divisions later in the season, every game in the NSIC is a conference game, which means that both standings and pride are on the line each and every week. Let's take a look at our preseason rankings, and from an overall standpoint, the top 3 all receive votes from coaches. Minnesota Duluth is first with 8 votes, Minnesota State Mankato is second with 7 votes, and Winona State is third with 1 vote. UMD and Mankato also received top billing in the North and South Division polls respectively, and those 2 schools are also ranked 4th and 5th respectively in the D2Football.com Top 25 preseason poll. But there's another team in that Top 25 poll that might be overlooked. Number 12, St. Cloud State made it the furthest of any NSIC school in the playoffs last season, and it's a far cry from where the program was in 2010 when it was almost eliminated. 2013 was the most successful season in Husky football history, but the team is aiming for more than just one record-breaking season.
We learned a lot from last season. We made a pretty good run in the playoffs, and our coaches always talk about building a dynasty, and I feel like the only way for us to do that is to have a season like at that level or even better.
St. Cloud State graduated Philip Klophockey last year, a 4-year starting quarterback who threw for more than 10,000 yards. He's back as a graduate assistant to help the wide receivers, but the running game may be relied on a little more this season while the new quarterbacks get settled.
We're experienced in the offensive line and at the running back spot, so try to throw as much at it, and our quarterbacks are both very athletic guys that that carry themselves at 200 plus pounds and run well, so try to see if we can put the ball in their hands as well as our running backs.
A lot of tempo, fast tempo, and working hard. Coaches helped out a lot too during the season, play calling, everything like that. But last year I feel like we were a family and we all worked toward the same goal.
As far as defense is concerned, new coordinator Mark Sipple is instituting more of a 3-4 scheme that should provide Beau Petra, a second-team All-NSIC player, with some more versatility at both defensive end and linebacker.
It just has a great motor. I mean, he's a great leader, and for us, he just keeps coming. And this year he'll probably get a little taste at more of an outside linebacker type look compared to being the true defensive end with his hand on the ground all the time. And so in doing that, I think the key thing that you run into is that he's a good solid player with a lot of versatility and great athlete.
I would like to make the play every time, so I'm up for the challenge, and we'll see what happens. Practice has been going well.
Despite the team's finish last season, everyone knows that this year will be a time to rebuild and reload, and it's up to the veterans to set an example.
Showing up every single day and being ready to play, that's the biggest thing, because then they see that, and they feed off that. So as long as you bring a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion, they're right there behind you. So that's the biggest thing, probably.
Regardless of where the Huskies fall in the standings this season, simply playing football in St. Cloud is a relief. In the fall of 2010, the football program was nearly cut due to budget concerns. But after 3 playoff appearances in 4 seasons, these Huskies will continue to remain on the prowl.
The kids that are in the program have invested their time and effort, and once you kind of get in the playoffs for the first round, hopefully your young kids see what the building blocks and steps you need to take to try to remain successful.
It was a little wake-up call for us. We knew that we had to make a good run, and we did that year. And I think they noticed us a little bit more, and hopefully we can keep doing that and taking big steps. With this new field, it's awesome out here, and it's fun to play, and I'm excited.
Of course, the Huskies upset MSU-Mankato 54-48 in the second round of the playoffs last year, and wouldn't you know it, they play each other Thursday, September 4th in the season opener. The annual training kit game, signifying the longest-running rivalry in the conference, is a good test for both teams to start 2014.
They'll be a very talented team, and we're excited to go down there and meet that challenge. If you're going to play some of the best teams in the country and certainly in the Northern Sun, might as well have them week one and get the opportunity to prepare for them. But it'll be a great challenge.
Well, I think the game really evolves around our preparation and how we do things, and we really want to stay focused on taking care of the football, limiting our mistakes, field position, some of the things that are really important to our success.
There's a lot of hatred between the two schools. We play each other. Since I've been here, we've played each other every single year, and it's always one of the biggest games of the year, the hardest hitting, and we both really don't like each other.
1-0. At the end of the day, we're coming ready, we're practicing hard, fast tempo, and at the end of the day, we want to go 1-0 when we play them.
In addition to St. Cloud State at Mankato, here are some other Week 1 matchups. Winona State at Northern State is the other one on Thursday the 4th, and that's also our Midco Sports Network HD Game of the Week. You can catch the full replay of that contest next Tuesday, September 9th at 9 p.m. right here on Midco Sports Network with our own Alex Heinert on the call. On Saturday, September 6th, 6 more matchups starting at noon with Minot State making the long drive to Sioux Falls to play USF. The other Sioux Falls school, Augustana, is on the road at Minnesota Crookston. Bemidji State at Wayne State, SMSU at U-Mary, MSU-Moorhead at Upper Iowa, and Concordia-St. Paul at UMD is the nightcap at 6 p.m., and those are your Week 1 contests. When we come back, a look ahead to some other NSIC fall sports, including soccer and golf.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. All fall sports kick off this weekend, and one conference champion is starting things right at home. The Augustana golf team has won the past 5 NSIC championships, and they start their season at their own invitational at Baker Crossing on September 7th.
We have 5 new freshmen, which is something I haven't had for a long time, and to see the excitement and the fear and the anxiety a little bit of what's going to happen is really fun for me. They're all excited. I've got some great freshmen coming in. They've had a great summer. They've had a great high school career. I expect a lot out of them, and they're young, they're raw, they want to get after it, and I think they're going to really be good. And it's fun for me, to have new challenges and new ways to do practice, and exciting to see what we can get out of these students.
Switching gears now to soccer, and just like football, Minnesota State Mankato is number 1 in the preseason poll. The Mavericks return a core group of players who are eager to avenge their loss in the NCAA tournament to rival SMSU last year.
We always have a thing on our plate every year. We want to go after what we call the yearly 3, and that's conference championship, conference tournament championship, and a national championship. So I think this team definitely has the capability to do that with the returning players we have and the depth we've added.
We're lucky to have a lot of returners coming back this year, and we've already clicked. We have a huge class of freshmen. We've already clicked so well with them, so we have a deep bench, and that's going to be really nice this year.
When we come back, our spotlight turns on Minnesota State Moorhead, where the school's new president is off to a running start.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Every week here on the show, we're going to try and highlight a specific NSIC institution with something we like to call Under the Northern Sun. And for our inaugural week, we go to Minnesota State Moorhead, where the school's new president is off to a running start.
New Minnesota State University Moorhead President Ann Blackhurst has not wasted any time dedicating her own time to the Dragons student athletes.
I think the extent to which we have competitive athletic teams, people make attributions about the quality of the university. So the more exposure we have for our teams, the better they do. The more visible the university is, the better our reputation is.
Student athlete Molly Montoni has enjoyed spending time with President Blackhurst.
I think it's really cool that I actually can talk to the president. I think it's really awesome that she is willing to come practice with us and run even just our warm-up with us and converse with us.
Senior Spencer Rubke appreciates the president showing interest in all of Dragon sports.
I like the fact that she's showing an interest in our athletics and not just the big sports that everyone pays attention to, but even, lesser sports, as some people would maybe call us, like cross country.
President Blackhurst believes the university will improve as a whole with the more exposure the athletic department receives.
The students who participate in athletics get the opportunity to experience achievement in that arena. That opportunity to pursue achievement and have experienced accomplishments, I think is part of a well-rounded education for our students.
From Minnesota State University Moorhead Athletics, this is Andrew Melrow.
Transition's gone really well.
When we come back, we'll sit down with another person who just got a new job, Commissioner Erin Lind. My exclusive one-on-one interview with her is next.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by CU Mortgage Direct LLC, Sanford Health, and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. We conclude our first show with an interview with Commissioner Erin Lind. She took over for Butch Raymond, who retired back in July. I had a chance to sit down with her one-on-one to ask about her new duties, as well as the challenges facing the NSIC. All right, Erin, you've been on the job now for a little more than 2 months. How's it going so far?
It's going great. It's an exciting time of year, with the 14-15 academic year at the doorstep. It's been really wonderful. The transition period's gone smooth. But I've been surrounded by a really good staff and good administrators within our institutions, so the transition's gone really well, and we're excited to start the season.
Now, before you became commissioner a couple months ago, you were the associate commissioner under Butch Raymond since 2005. So what is the difference in your duties now versus today?
Well, in my former role as an associate commissioner, I provided guidance to a lot of our coaching groups, administered championships, provided guidance to our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. In my role now as Commissioner, I'll be working closely with our Board of Directors and our upper level administrators in terms of governance and policy that will keep this conference moving forward. I also will serve as a leadership role within the national organization, part of the Commissioners Association. But I will still facilitate championships, as that's what keeps us close to student athletes, and that's why we go to work every day. So I look forward to continuing in the facilitation of championships in terms of the role of commissioner. But a lot of things that I was doing helped me prepare me for my role now as the commissioner.
What's the current state of the NSIC? What do you like about it? What do you seek to improve?
Well, we're 16 members strong, sponsor 17 sports. I think that we're doing a lot of things well. We have student athletes graduating at a high rate. We have our student athletes competing at our conference level, at a regional level, at a national level. So I think that we will continue to build upon the academic and athletic excellence. I look forward to improving our identity, and I think our partnership with Midco is a way that we're going to work at improving our identity. I think people understand what our institutions are within their communities, but do they understand what the Northern Sun is? Do they understand what Division II is? Division II is about regionalization, and we have our student athletes that are competing at our institutions that are typically regional and local kids. And many times the NCAA and collegiate athletics is cast in a negative light. And I think Division II, it's a special place, and we have student athletes that compete at a high level. So I really look forward to improving upon our identity and really having our fans, our parents, spectators, recognize what Division II is and how special our student athletes are.
What separates this conference from other D2 conferences?
People. I think my colleagues across the country would all say people, but I think Division II, Northern Sun, administrators, presidents, student athletes, they're all coaches, they're all very special people that really do believe in the Northern Sun and the Division II philosophy. And I think when we have 16 dynamic institutions that are so different in terms of enrollment, geography, education majors that they provide, that you get those people around the table and they need to make decisions for the betterment of the entire conference. They have the ability to do that on a constant basis instead of just hit or miss, and I think that's really what separates our conference from other Division II conferences across the country.
I know it's the fall season, but the NSIC basketball tournament this past year was held at the Sanford Pentagon, brand new building in Sioux Falls. What were your impressions of that, and what do new facilities like that do for the NSIC?
First class comes to mind. It's a first class facility. We are very appreciative of the partnership we have with Sanford Health and the support they've given us. But being able to provide our student athletes that wow factor when they walk into our basketball championship, our fans, our coaches, something that's memorable for all, that type of experience is what our student athletes will talk about 10 years from now, 20 years from now. That event has actually become a Division II blueprint where we have used that championship and partnered with the NCAA and provided that tournament as an example for all Division II conferences across the country for any championship that they run. So the venue itself is beautiful. We look forward to bringing our basketball tournament back there. And the events that surrounded that tournament, whether it was the community engagement or the interaction with the youth there during the tournament, we'll continue to build on.
Now, there are very few female commissioners in any ranks, whether it's college or professional. Does that fact ever dawn on you, or do you just do your job?
It only dawns on me when asked. I really just do my job. I've been in collegiate athletics for 14 years. I was a Division II student athlete, so that really doesn't factor into anything that I think of on a daily basis. I think that I'm fortunate to work with people who are passionate about collegiate athletics and who are humble. And I think if you mix those two things up, it really equates to success.
And then lastly, what's the future of the NSIC now that you're the new commissioner?
I think the future will be continue to build on our success in academics and athletics. We will do anything we can to maintain stability. That means servicing our membership, making sure our student athletes have the best possible experience. So that through the next 5 years, I think we'll be evaluating a lot of the things we do. We'll continue to try to grow our identity and again, provide the best possible student athlete experience.
All right, thanks for your time.
You bet.
Our thanks to Commissioner Lind and all of our member schools. It's going to be a great year and we'll be happy to bring you all the highlights. I am David Brown and I will NSI. See you next week.